last 12 months? How does it make you feel? What are the lessons learned? What are the experiences you had in the course of the year as we start in the new year?
Looking back on 2020.
2020, yes.
Well, looking back on 2020, I would say I learned a lot. I understood life a bit deeper from a spiritual perspective. I'm afraid there's no time I have a conversation that doesn't come out.
Come on, sir.
And that's because I understand spirituality differently from being religious.
Okay.
So I had a bit more time, particularly during COVID-19, to go deeper and search deeper. And it completely revolutionized my life. The way I look at things, my understanding of situations, and I grew and I became more aware of self. Not self in the ego self, but the higher self. The self that is connected to the universe. And it did a lot for me in terms of awakening, awareness, understanding. It took a lot out of my hands in terms of paranoia, fear, anxiety. And 2020 was a good year for me. It was a good year for me.
Okay.
I would say it's my best year yet. I hope 2021 will be a build-up of what 2020 was. Like a lot of people, I didn't share any woe thoughts or experience or perception of all that happened, because 2020 threw a lot of off. Like, people became really, really afraid. They became really religious. They interpreted the pandemic to be so many things that it wasn't, based on the fact that they didn't know what it was. It's easier for us to give an understanding to something when we don't know what that thing really is. So, if I look back on 2020, I would say it was a phenomenal year. It was a year of a rebirth for me. It was a year I discovered more. And it was essential that we went through that pandemic. A lot of people just didn't know how to use it. If they understood what was going on, they would take that moment to really go inside, as against trying to understand what is going on from the outside perspective. So, it was a good year. It was, yeah.
So how has that influenced your plans for 2021? Do you plan to do things differently, or do you plan to just continue to build on what you've done?
It's pretty much about building. I've always had my dreams. I've always had my desires and goals. Quite lofty ones. If you ask me, if I tell you some of it, you would laugh. So I always had those dreams, and I reckon because I was searching, I found in 2020. I was able to connect with the events that happened and leverage it to develop internally and spiritually. And that was just a part of my journey. So I would do things better because I know more. I would improve on whatever it is that I'm doing. I've always had a passion to do right by my customers, to serve people with the desire to give my best to customers. I've always believed that if you give more than you get paid for, value and virtues will never leave your space. You can never be wanting for money. It's because we try to be smart that we cheat ourselves out of life. If you learn to serve more and give more, you would realize that you will never be in lack. So I would do better in 2021. I will develop more of what I already had in mind. I have better clarity on how to go about the journey of life. I have deeper insights as to how to manage complexities. Now, would I still be flustered once in a while? Yes. Will I still be a bit confused? Absolutely. And that is likely because of my programming. A lot of us are running programming based on our upbringing, our environment, our doctrines, our religious affiliations. It has formed our mindset of what life is. If I did not grow up here, this same entity, this same individual, this same persona, if I'd grown up in the US or in another country, I would have a different life. So that's just to say that this life is a function of where I find it. So it's not fixed. It's constantly fluid. You can always change, you can always adapt, you can always improve on your life. And a lot of us don't know that. We get into a situation, we throw our hands in the air, we feel helpless, we try to become super religious and hide under prayer and fasting as against understanding that we have our destiny in our hands and we can change whatever it is we don't like by predominantly changing our thoughts and our understanding of that event and situation. So yes, in 2021, I would do more than what I've been doing. I would serve more. I'll look at ways that I can deliver more value to people that I would feel fulfilled. I derive a lot of pleasure and satisfaction from what I do. But beyond the sales, the joy comes from adding value to people. And that's the whole essence of our life, service to humanity. So yes, 2021 promises to be exciting, irrespective of where the tide of COVID-19 is going to turn us.
Okay. I've always wondered how you or why you combine skincare with fashion. Which came first and what led to...
Okay, fashion came first.
Okay.
And the reason why I go into fashion is because I'm very, very self-conscious. I love to look good. I love to take care of myself. So I started fashion because I saw a gap that I felt was not adequately being met in the space of ready to wear. A lot of people buy beautiful fabric and it get ruined by lousy tailors. Not because the tailors were bad in themselves, but because there's a gap between the desire of the customer and the delivery of the tailor or designer as it were. So I realized that also sometimes some people do not know what they want once they have an outfit. They rely on the advice of the tailor to give them something. And because they really don't know what they want, anything they deliver to them is either they're pleased or they're displeased. So I decided to bridge that gap. It's okay. Let me look for quality fabric. Let me look for amazing styles. If I have this need, I'm sure while I'm meeting my own personal needs, I can also cater to the needs of other women. So that's how fashion came about for me. 3 years now.
3 years?
Yes, it's not been so long. 3 years. Before then, I was working with the Lagos State government as an engineer. So then skincare came by also my desire to take care of my skin and myself. Damilola is the number one customer for Milolar. I serve myself and then I serve other people. So because I am a recipient of my work and I love myself, I would continue to give the best to myself and by extension to my customers. So I know that my customers will never not be happy because as long as I continue to improve on myself, to make myself look better, I would extend that same service to other people in the form of my business.
So that was why skincare came.
The skincare came because I also identified the gap in terms of skin issues, a lot of products that damage skin. I don't want to speak about all the brands. I just want to speak that I felt that I wanted to do less makeup. I could never go out before now without having to wear makeup. The dress up time for women, it takes hours. Before they jump in the shower, they come out and paint their face and all of that. It just felt like a lot of work. And I knew that it's because they are trying to cover blemish. That's why they wear makeup. If you can make our skin good, men don't wear makeup. Why can't women wear makeup? So it's about catering to that skin. So it radiates enough and it glows enough that you don't need to cover it up. Rather, you wear makeup as a choice, not because you have to. So it's still predominantly about identifying the need that I have and understanding that other people have that same need. And if I can meet my own needs, I can extend the service to other people and they'll pay for it as long as it's good service.
So what's the secret, the secret behind your own natural look, naturally beautiful look and all that? Each time I see you, it's always like no makeup and you've kept your skin glowing for years.
I just believe that happiness is an inside job. Your state of mind, your state of consciousness reflects on your face. When you see people that are sad, it will appear on their countenance. Because I work a lot on my inside, it reflects on my outside. Beyond and above skincare, if you have a sad life, if you're predominantly unhappy, there's no amount of skincare product that can fix you. So you have to first of all fix you on the inside. And the challenge is a lot of people don't know how. They want to, they don't know how. And sometimes they're not willing to pay the price to know the how. Because I understand that when servant is ready, the master always show up. I've received phenomenal and significant help because I was hungry enough to seek till I found. So that being said, happiness is an inside job. We need to get to a point where we are happy with our lives, irrespective of the state of the economy, understanding that events will always change. So you need to build a core that does not change like a weather based on events that happens or throws you off and make you confused, and then you become unhappy and sad, and your predominant thoughts affects your appearance. So we need to take care of that while at the same time we're taking care of our skin. I do products that are safe, I do products that are effective, gentle gradual lightening so that the skin doesn't get damaged in the process of trying to maintain it. This is my own belief, and I have customers that can identify with the brand and they're happy with what we sell to them.
So what gives you, what keeps you going? What makes you happy about what you do?
I derive a lot of joy from customers' feedback, and they're happy with what they bought. It makes me want to do more. But beyond what they think, also what I think. Because I didn't start the business with a customer satisfaction. I started the business with my own desire. So I had to find a source of inspiration outside of customer satisfaction. And it all goes back to me saying to you again, we go inside. That happiness, fulfillment is an inside job. And you need to know a lot about that for you to really find fulfillment on the outside. So my desire to succeed in life, understanding that the more I serve, the more I become. Understanding that if I'm able to continue to push my dream, other people would buy on account of me pushing my dream, find the strength to push theirs, keeps me going. Aside of customer satisfaction, which is one of the key things that makes me happy to do what I'm doing.
How easy was it for you to discover yourself? Was it time I hear you speak or I interview you and you always sound deep, and I know that it wasn't just by mistake that you do. I mean, you must have taken a conscious. So can you explain that bit? How you, at what point did you begin to develop yourself into who you are today?
A long time coming. I didn't arrive here today. I've been making this journey to self a while back. If I can remember around time specific, I would say since 2008, which is about 12 years now. Even before then, really, it runs back to my university days. I used to be very unsatisfied with my life, as it were. I used to have a lot of questions. I used to probe, and when I'm able to grab anyone that is in the path of seeking knowledge, I used to ask them some questions. I'm like, Damilola, the fact that I remember what one lecturer of mine used to say to me, and he said that the fact that you are seeking this question means that you're already on the right path. Just be patient through the time when the answers will be made available to you. And that's what happened. I've asked questions for years that I'm getting answers to now. So business or no business, I've always been on the path of trying to understand purpose. Why am I here? What am I supposed to be doing? Am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing? Why do I feel unfulfilled? Why do I feel this vacuum? Why do I feel this gap? And all those many questions led me to meet people, to find myself in situations, to find myself in events that were answering the questions or further challenging those questions. And that's how evolution is really pretty much about. When you meet people that you're thinking about, it's not by happenstance. It's not a coincidence. People don't know that there are really no coincidences in life. Things don't just happen. Things happen just the way it's supposed to happen. So it's been many years of seeking, trying to know me, trying to understand purpose, trying to fulfill destiny. And with business, with a lot of life challenges, getting thrown in situations that I thought I had total control of, and finding myself still lost. I thought I had it figured out, but then I lost it again. And it would challenge me and say, oh, I don't have it figured out as much as I thought. So life will teach you. Life will teach you humility. It will teach you to be humble. It will teach you to accept failure. It will teach you to take success with a pinch of salt so that you don't become arrogant and overly complacent, it would constantly throw you. So when you learn to know and accept that life is, one of what I've discovered in recent times is we are human beings. We're supposed to be in the state of being. Forcing life is what brings pain and struggles. Once we come into terms with just being, a lot of things would be revealed to us. And because people don't know the resistance is what generates friction, pain, and suffering, we keep pushing it. So it's many years of searching.
Tell us a bit about growing up. Where was growing up for you? Where were you born?
I was born in Lagos. I came from a family of, I would say, initially 3. And then my parents got separated, and then I had to go live with my grandmother, and then I had to do back and forth with stepmom. It was tough growing up. It wasn't an easy ride. I had a very challenging upbringing in terms of having to survive in the most craziest way that people would never connect who I was with who I am now. Based on where I was placed by birth, I probably should not be where I am now. So everything somehow adds up. The challenges of growing up, having to grow up in some environment that you could never amount to anything by the natural law of selection, except by some sheer providence. Upbringing and upbringing with stuff. I grew up with grandma, I grew up with stepmoms. I started to survive very early, started to take responsibility for myself very early. So I wouldn't say I had it on a platter, but still I'm grateful for everything that I've been through because it has made me who I am. And it's been a good journey so far.
About schooling?
I had my first degree in physics with electronics from Otubanjo University. Then I used to, while I was in uni, desire to be able to have a degree. When I see some women on TV and they have a national degree outside of the country, I thought, how nice it would be to be able to have a degree. You have to know that believing works. And you have to believe in the validity of your dreams. If you believe it's strong enough, it eventually manifests. And by some sheer providence, I was able to pursue a second degree in renewable energy engineering.
Sorry?
Renewable energy engineering.
Okay.
From Kingston University in London. So, first degree done, second degree done. I came back into the country with my big dreams and my big agenda. I wanted to change the energy sector in Nigeria, particularly in Lagos. I said, where do I put this to work? I said, let me work with Lagos State government. Let me set up the department for non-conventional energy because that was my field. I said, we don't do anything that has to do with renewable energy in this part of the world. Let's see how we could do it. All fired up. And I came and I joined service and I applied to become a director. I didn't understand. I didn't understand the bureaucracy of government. I didn't understand why I could not make directorship. For me, if you have an idea, you should be given a chance to implement your idea. But they threw me back and told me that by entry, you have to start at grade level 9. So I joined civil service at the grade level 9. And I worked with the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources for 3 years. And then I went to the Lagos State Electricity Board for 2 years. I did 5 years in service and I knew I was done. So I left. And then I'm pushing my business.